So our next guest dealt with both hand and shoulder injuries last season. Despite that, still combined for 34 tackles, 8.5 sacks, and was named to his 4th consecutive Pro Bowl. Gerald McCoy in the house. Thank you for joining us. Not too shabby, and that was you banged up. But thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
So you said that Jameis Winston asked you, and we were talking about this a little bit earlier with Levante David, to be a different kind of leader this season. What did he say?
Well, he's already said it. I wasn't going to say because it was a private conversation, but he came out and said it. He wants me to be more vocal. You know, I got a lot of heat in the media, a lot of heat last year for you would see me on the outside of the circle because most of the time when game day comes, I'm just about my business. I'm trying to get in the zone so I can, you know, lead the troops. I let other guys be the rah-rah guys, but he called me this offseason and said, hey, listen, I want you to be that guy. I feel like when you speak up, everybody shuts down and they listen. So he asked me to be more vocal, get in the circle more, do more talking, because I'm more of a walking guy. I like to just go out there and do it. But he wants me to be more vocal, so I can do that.
Well, yeah, I was getting ready to ask you, how difficult is that going to be for you? I mean, you know, that if you're not a talker, then you're not a talker. Right. I don't know how you all of a sudden become one.
Right. Well, I don't mind it. I just prefer to walk. Most guys, the thing that comes with being a professional and where you become a guy is by doing it. It's not always about talking. A lot of guys talk, but can you walk it? And I'm more of a walker than a talker, but I can be a talker. You know, I can lift guys up. I can be more vocal. So it's not a hard thing to do. It's just I would prefer to do it the other way. But whatever my team needs, that's what I do.
Now you do both.
Well, I've had conversations with you. You can communicate for sure. Like, you definitely know what you're talking about. I understand, but your personality is different. There was a play that was, you know, kind of went viral yesterday, was on Twitter, of you making a play in the backfield and a fight starting. Listen, I've known you to be a dog since you've been in the league. Like, you've been balling, but at this stage in your career, when you're used to winning in college and now you're here and you've played well individually throughout your career, what do you want to show this team each day in practice that gets y'all to start winning games on the field in the regular season? What's your focus on that?
Consistency. That's what makes great teams is consistency. If you watch the Super Bowl teams, the guys who win the Super Bowl, if you watch them play throughout the playoffs, at the end of the season, they're very consistent with what they do. Von Miller was the Super Bowl MVP, but he was really the playoffs MVP. If you watch him, every game he was the same guy. Right. And I'm trying to show guys that every day, regardless of how you feel, you're not always going to feel it. Mentally, physically, emotionally, you're not always going to be there. But you have to find a reason to be here. So I'm trying to show guys we got to be consistent regardless of how you feel.
Do you feel any additional pressure to be a little bit different, not just to walk it, but in terms of talking to guys more, being that motivational and that inspirational leader? Do you feel there's a level of urgency attached to it because of the absence of Lovie Smith being gone from this team and now Dick Cutter is the coach?
Yeah, well, not pressure, but like you said, urgency. There is an urgency because this is my 7th year and I've never been in the playoffs. So guys are looking for the guys, as we call them, to be the leaders. And for a person who has as much experience as me, everybody's turning to me. What do we need to do? What is it that we have to do? And that's where I could be more vocal, you know?
For me, I remember Coach Tomlin would always tell us, like when we play Baltimore, he wouldn't give a pregame speech because he would say this is an A-player day. And what he meant by that was the Troys and the James Harrisons and Ryan Clarks, like, y'all got to go win today. What we do on this sideline is not going to win it. Do y'all have enough A-players in this locker room and on this defense this year to compete to get to the playoffs?
I believe we do. I really believe we do. And the best thing about what we have, which is going to make us good this year, is our young guys are not young guys. They have a vets mentality. And, you know, a lot of young guys just kind of come in, their eyes are wide open, and they just, well, we brought in some vets, and then we have some young guys who have a vet mindset to ask the questions. They always want to be the first on the field. They're doing extra afterwards. They're always in tune to what we're doing. They don't care that they're rookies. They don't care that they're first, second-year guys. They know this is the time. We have a Jameis Winston. There is no more excuses. We have a Jameis Winston. We needed a franchise quarterback. Now we have it. Now's the time to strike.
2 questions.
Yes,
One,
sir.
We have a Jameis Winston. How special is this kid to you?
Jameis, what makes him special to me is regardless of who you are, whether you're the Glazers, Jason Light, Gerald McCoy, whoever it is, he's going to be Jameis. And that's what has made him who he is. He loves to compete, and he's going to attempt to outwork. The reason I say attempt, because I refuse to let him outwork me, but he's going to attempt to outwork the hardest working guy on the field. That's just him.
Second question. You believe in this defense. You've been talking about what you guys can do. How in God's name does quarterbacks complete 70% of their passes against your defense last year and throw for 31 touchdowns? Explain that.
Guys not being on the same page. We doing one thing, back end doing a different thing. Rush and coverage has to work together. And if your rush is not there and your coverage is there, it doesn't matter. If your rush is there, if your coverage is not there and your rush is there, it doesn't matter. Rush and coverage has to work together. And one thing that we've showed so far in the offseason and training camp, the rush and coverage, when it works together, it's scary, man. It really is.
For me, you always want an inside rush. Obviously, you guys have that. I also believe you have you may be the best young linebacking core in football. So knowing that you have that, what is the sense of urgency for this defense to lead? Because like you said, you don't have Lovey anymore.
Right.
So it's going to be the defensive play that makes that important to this team. What is the focus of yourself, Quan Alexander, knowing that y'all have to get things together in order for that back end to be able to play?
Well, I know that Quan, even being a young guy, he's taking on that role. He's running head first into that role as being the quarterback of the defense. Derek Brooks told me to get in touch with Levante. This was 2 years ago. He said what made that defense so good is him and Sapp were always on the same page. So me and Levante have tons and tons and tons of off-field conversations. That way when we're on field, he could just sense, all right, G's going to try and take the A-gap this time. I got to cover him up. With Quan being the quarterback of the defense, and then me and Levante being on the same page, it's going to get everybody else to fall in place.
Here's why there are folks that may have some trepidation about that, not just because of the numbers that I threw out, but also because, as Ryan pointed out earlier, you have it with Levante. You have a situation where you had a defensive guy who was a head coach. He's gone. Now your offensive coordinator is your new head coach.
Right.
And so what is that? How is that going to affect you as a defense when your head coach is not the guy that really prioritizes the defensive side of the ball, at least in the past, because obviously he was the offensive coordinator. That's all I mean by that. What kind of impact do you anticipate that change will have on your defense?
Well, I don't think that's going to have a huge impact on our defense or any at all, because our defensive coordinator, one, has been a top defensive coordinator in Jacksonville, and he was a head coach for years. So he knows how to run a defense, and Coach Cutter gives Coach Smith free reign. That's your defense. I will not say a thing to you. We have a defensive coordinator who's been a head coach, so he knows both ends of it. So he knows how to get us in row.
How do you contend in this division when you have the Panthers in it?
You got to take them out, man. You got to go to bed.
How do you take them out, though?
You got to start with number one, man. He's the league MVP, so that makes him the best player in our league. We got to take him out. How you get him uncomfortable, believe it or not, you got to keep him in the pocket. He likes to move around. When you get him moving and you let him use his feet, I've been quoted as saying he's the best escape artist we have in this league. From size to speed to agility, you put that all together, it's hard to get him on the ground. But if you keep him in the pocket and make him throw the ball, that's where he struggles.
Gerald McCoy, thank you so much.
I just want the record to show. Jameis Winston will be great, but I would not pick him over Drew Brees and Cam Newton this year. That's all I'm trying to say. Not this year. Not year two.
We picking him now. We picking him so much, he could call superstars and say, we want you to talk more.
He set me up for Jameis to be mad at me.
We want you to talk more, superstars. And the superstars listen because we
see what I have to deal with? I've been on the road with these guys all week. It's a lot. But we saved the best for last year. We came to Tampa.
Yes.
We finished with GERALD.
And we were inside, not outside with the bugs.
Yeah, because you're a diva. I wanted the team behind us, but you could.
And you're not a diva.
No.
You didn't want a tan or nothing like that, right? Really?
No.
None of that came this way. Right? Football guys know about being outside.
All right. Well, it's been a great week. Take a look back at some of our highlights from our training camp tour. Check it out. We'll see you in Bristol Monday. We are not in Bristol. Day one from Florham Park, New Jersey.
Jay Cutler can be an MVP this year. I truly believe that.
Can I believe you have no credibility when it comes to quarterback?
I love Ryan Fitzpatrick.
A pox on your house.
Day two of First Takes training camp tour in Latrobe, Pennsylvania.
Kids, that's a bad idea. Purple drink.
Stay off the lead.
So you had a little bet going on with Antonio Brown. But what was it? It was for a car?
First off,
Brandon Marshall to own a Porsche. Tell Brandon to call me when he's for real.
Once we do get married, we're like zombies.
So are we zombies or are we not?
Happy life, happy life. We are in Richmond, Virginia.
The Dallas Cowboys are going to win the NFC East. Jay Cutler's the worst quarterback in football. I'm saying this to you. He stinks. He should be arrested for theft.
I want to talk about Jay Cutler every day.
I wasn't giving him a choice on whether or not he liked it.
I have to confess, I never liked
No.
it.
I like how you throwing that back at me, though.
Yeah.
Then what that is?
That's a good job.
We are at $1 Place.
Give me Jameis Winston.
You got to be crazy.
That's ridiculous. Is that ridiculous?
That is so disrespectful.
First take hot out of the gate.
Run the ball. We're going to pass it.
They're going to pass it.
Real recognize real. I gotta wake up. You know, it's time to ball.
Can't believe you did not. Don't do that.
I got him.
We're having fun.